Treatment of Riluzole for motor neuron disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Motor neuron disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, as it is known in many parts of the world, is a degenerative and eventually terminal disease that affects the strength in limb and bulbar muscles. Approximately 1 in 11,434 Australians are affected. The reason why I chose to study MND is because I have family members who have been burdened with familial motor neuron disease. There is currently no treatment with the ability to stop or reverse progression of motor neuron disease. It is hard to diagnose at times due to symptoms varying from person to person. Those with motor neuron disease only have an average survival time of 2.5 years from the time of diagnosis. Deaths from MND are usually a result from weakened respiratory muscles. Here we can see a figure from the MND Australia website of prevalence from 2009 to 2013. Prevalence in Australia in 2015 was 7.9 to 9.6 per 100,000, with an estimated 2,094 Australians living with the disease in 2015, 60% being male and 40% being female. In Australia, 2 people per day die from MND, and in North America, the incidence is approximately 2 per 100,000 per annum, and it is estimated that there are about 25,000 prevalent patients. In 1993, it was discovered that 20% of familial MND cases are linked to mutations in the superoxide dismutase 1 gene. More recently, a large portion of familial MND cases have been traced to mutations in the C9orf72 gene. Other causes for MND include physical trauma, protein aggregation, glutamate toxicity, mitochondrial dysfunction, exposure to environmental toxins and chemicals, oxidative stress, immune damage, and/or dysfunctional signaling pathways. As to date, the drug Riluzole is the only yet to have a substantial effect on the life expectancy of patients with MND. It has been found to extend the life expectancy of patients by up to 3 months. Riluzole works by blocking the presynaptic release of the glutamate neurotransmitter chemical in the nervous system that carries signals between nerve cells. To ensure it is only prescribed to MND patients, Riluzole must be prescribed by a neurologist and then can be later prescribed again by a GP. When searching for information on the topic, I use the websites Medline and Cochrane using the key terms motor neuron disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Riluzole, and treatment. The purpose of Riluzole is to prolong the life of patients already diagnosed with ALS or MND. The first piece of evidence I found was a systematic review written by Robert Miller, J.D. Mitchell, and Dan Moore in 2012. It was titled Riluzole for Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis ALS, Motor Neuron Disease MND. Due to no sufficient treatment or cure for MND, information was quite limited and had to be restricted to the latest being from 2012. The systematic review is a level 1 source of evidence in regards to the National Health and Medical Research Council, or the NHMRC, hierarchy. The review had 4 randomized controlled trials, 3 of which trials were easy to compare and find consistent results from. The 4th trial was inconsistent due to focusing on older and more advanced cases of MND. We will be looking at just 2 of these RCTs from the review. Evidence was also at a good level in accordance to the NHMRC. The only setback from all trials is that they have been dated back to 1994. Again, this is due to the lack of funds for the disease. Our first randomized controlled trial was conducted over a course of 18 months in 1996. 959 patients with either clinical, probable, or definite ALS MND of less than a 5-year duration were randomly selected for the study. The name of the study is Dose-Ranging Study of Riluzole in Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis. It was conducted by L. Lankables, G. Bensamon, P. N. Lee, P. Hewlett, and V. Meininger. The study was double-blinded in order to ensure no bias throughout. The study is at a level 2 of evidence in accordance to the NHMRC hierarchy. Patients were split into groups of either receiving a placebo or a 50, 100, or 200 milligram dose of Riluzole. The primary purpose of the study was to determine the outcome of 100 milligrams a day and survival without a tracheostomy. It was concluded with a significant result of 56.8% survival without a tracheostomy in relation to 50.4% for placebo-treated patients. While the study determined some secondary purposes, such as muscle strength, tiredness, respiratory function, etc., they have had a setback in results due to giving some of the patients 50 milligrams or 200 milligrams. In order to correct this, patients could have been split into only 2 groups of placebo and 100 milligram doses. The second study in the review that we are looking at was a randomized controlled trial conducted in 1994. The trial sits at a level 2 on the NHMRC hierarchy. The purpose of the trial was to evaluate the efficacy and safety of Riluzole. The trial was conducted over 12 months and had 155 patients included. They were all tested at the baseline and then again at the end of the 12 months. Results were recorded as either alive or deceased after those 12 months. This study tested the effect on both bulbar onset patients and limb onset patients, finding an overall result of 58% of placebo patients still alive and 74% of Riluzole patients still alive. Muscle deterioration was significantly lower in the Riluzole group compared to the placebo group. In order to eliminate bias, the trial was double-blinded and had a randomized control. All Riluzole patients received 100 milligrams each day, although withdrawal from the treatment throughout the study may have caused an underestimation of effectiveness. Due to a lack of funds, it has been quite difficult to find recent studies in support of any kind of treatment for MND. In terms of future research, awareness has proven to be growing and therefore more funding will be received and will eventually lead to more room for further trials. As for now, all studies were quite old, with the RCTs being in 1994 and 1996. This could be seen as a limitation, as more current information on many other aspects of MND may be available. But as a whole, these studies all provide significant evidence to support the use of Riluzole for MND patients. Riluzole has provided a substantial difference to the lives of those using the treatment. Thank you for listening.